At the baby shower, I was placed near the restroom, far from the central table. "You're at table 8, the event planner murmured, almost sheepishly, passing me a small card labeled Extra Attendee *. Extra Attendee. I blinked, scanning the bustling room. Balloons in soft hues and shimmering ribbons adorned the ceiling, with banners proclaiming welcome, little 1* draped across every wall. 8 tables filled the space, 7 arranged in a cozy arc around the extravagant cake display and the expectant mother's grand chair, and 1 tucked away by the kitchen corridor, right beside the bathroom. That was my spot. I walked over, my shoes tapping lightly on the floor, and settled into a wobbly metal chair covered with a too-tight silk cloth. The faint scent of cleaning solution and artificial lavender lingered. Every few minutes, the bathroom door creaked open behind me, wafting a breeze of synthetic floral scent into my face. I tightened my lips and glanced at the main table, where the core family was already gathered. There sat Mom, Dad, Aunt Clara, my cousin Mia, and in the seat meant for me, according to the place cards I'd helped create, was Ethan, my sister's new husband of 6 months. I stared, puzzled, then caught Mom's gaze. She flashed a smile, raised her plastic glass of sparkling juice, and mouthed, "He's family now." I didn't respond. I just looked down at the card in my hand, Extra Attendee *. I'd spent 3 days crafting cupcakes for the gift bags, helped design the invitations, coordinated the cake delivery, and brought a gift, a small box now hidden under the cake table, containing a $6,000 check. I told myself it was a generous act, a way to support my sister's new chapter. But something inside me broke. I stood, smoothed my skirt, and walked toward the cake table. No one glanced up. No one noticed. I nudged the box deeper out of sight and headed for the door. As I pushed it open, the cheerful baby shower music faded behind me. An hour later, a voicemail arrived. It was my sister, Lily. "Hey, where's your gift? Everyone's wondering. You just left without a word. That's kind of rude, honestly." I responded with a single, flat text. "It's handled." By 6:43 p.m., my father had called 11 times. "You're always so dramatic," Mom had once said. "Too sensitive." That was 2 years ago, when I began to see my role in this family was never truly valued. I was the one who always showed up, contributed, offered help. Yet somehow I was never *, just * nearby. It started small. Growing up, Lily, my sister 4 years younger, was always the favorite. She got a car from Dad at 16. I rode the bus until I was 23. When I asked why, Mom said, "You're independent, she needs more help." That excuse followed me into adulthood. When Lily dropped out of college, twice, I helped her apply to a wellness program, paid the fee, and wrote her application essay. She quit that too. When her first marriage collapsed, her ex having maxed out her cards and left with her closest friend, I was the one picking her up at 2 a.m., suitcase in tow, tears streaming. She lived with me for 4 months, rent-free, never once said thanks. Still, I kept helping. Her pregnancy came quickly. Lily and Ethan had been together barely 6 months. Their wedding was a quick courthouse affair, followed by a family dinner. I covered the bill. No one asked me to, but Lily called me a lifesaver for it. It was one of the rare times she praised me publicly. I thought maybe things were shifting. They weren't. Planning the baby shower was supposed to be our project. Lily called me every few days, asking for help with the registry, decor, and theme. Rustic woodland, all earthy tones and faux vines. I offered my home as the venue. Mom shut that down instantly. "We've already reserved a place," she said, though I knew Lily hadn't. Still, I attended planning meetings, gave input, and designed the invites. I offered to split catering costs with Mom and Dad, and when they wavered, I paid the deposit myself. No fuss, I didn't expect gratitude, but I didn't expect to be seated by the bathroom either. That detail gnawed at me more than it should have. I kept replaying the seating chart in my mind. Lily and I had reviewed it together. I was supposed to be at table 1. Mom, Dad, Aunt Clara, Lily's friend Sophie, and me. Ethan didn't even enjoy big gatherings. He'd said so at dinner the previous week. Yet there he was in my seat next to Mom, laughing, toasting, his hand on Lily's belly like a picture-perfect dad. I'd never seen Mom look at me the way she looked at him that day. That warm, proud smile. I don't think she's ever smiled at me like that since my college graduation. Even then, she didn't show up, said she was unwell. Dad stayed with her. Lily arrived late, left after 20 minutes before my speech, claiming the venue's lights triggered her headache. I watched her leave in the shoes I'd helped her pick out, wondering why I kept doing this. Yet I did, until the baby shower. That day, something inside me shattered, not loudly but softly, like a string snapping under strain. And the gift, it wasn't just a toy or blanket. It was a $6,000 check to cover the first 6 months of baby expenses. Diapers, wipes, formula, clothes. Lily hadn't asked for it, but she dropped hints about tight finances, especially since Ethan lost his freelance gig. Mom had echoed, starting out is tough. A little help would mean so much. So I cashed out a savings bond meant for my dream trip to Greece next year. I told myself I'd do something for myself someday. Instead, I did what I always did, put them first. And they placed me by the bathroom. After I left, I turned off my phone. I didn't want the notifications, though I knew they'd come. The guilt tripping would be swift and sharp. It started with Lily's voicemail. Where's your gift? You didn't even say goodbye. Rude. Then Mom, I don't know what you're trying to pull, but this stunt isn't cute. Lily's devastated. Then the calls, 6 from Dad, 3 from Ethan, a text from Aunt Clara. Sweetie, can you explain what's going on? I answered only Lily. It's handled. That was it. By 6:43 p.m., Dad had called 11 times, leaving 1 voicemail. Call me. Now, I didn't. I watched my phone buzz across the counter, then go still. I stood in my kitchen, still in my dress, staring at the empty vision of the gift table I'd planned for months and thought, maybe I'm done. The next day, I stayed home. I ignored the voicemails piling up but knew they hadn't stopped. I turned my phone face down. On Monday afternoon, a knock came at my door. Not a text, not a call, a knock. I knew it was Mom. I opened the door, and there she stood, poised as ever, hair perfect, makeup flawless, her smile tight and cold. She didn't wait for an invitation, brushing past me into my living room like I was still a kid she could scold. I've been calling, she said. I know, I replied softly, closing the door. She spun around, hands on hips. What was that display at the shower? Do you realize how humiliating that was for Lily? For us? I said nothing. She cried for hours, Mom pressed. Your father was livid, Ethan was stunned. Frankly, so was I looked up. Stunned? You sat me by the bathroom, Mom. She blinked as if the words were foreign. It was the only spot left. No, it wasn't, I said, folding my arms. You put Ethan in my seat, the one I chose when we made the chart, the one marked asterisk immediate family asterisk. He asterisk is immediate family, she snapped. He's her husband, that's how it works. Why are you making a fuss over a seat? I let out a sharp, bitter laugh. It's not the seat. It's every time I'm reminded I'm not really one of you unless I'm useful. She rolled her eyes. Not this again? Yes, this again, I said, my voice rising. Let's review. I paid for Lily's moving van when her ex left. I covered her lawyer consultation. I bought groceries, gas, her registry gifts. I paid for your hotel at her wedding. I gave $6,000 for their honeymoon, asterisk their asterisk honeymoon. You all acted like I owed it. You offered, Mom said. I asterisk always offer, I shot back. Because I know no one else will. She crossed her arms, eyes narrowing. You're being selfish. I stared, stunned. Selfish, me? This silent treatment, this walking out without a word, making it all about you, that's not how family acts. Family, I said slowly, doesn't treat you like a tool. Family doesn't take your money, your time, your effort, and then push you aside when you're no longer convenient. She didn't respond. You call me selfish, I continued. You all laughed when I paid for things you couldn't afford. Remember that Christmas when I covered everyone's gifts? And Lily said I must have gotten a bonus for being your errand girl? I heard her. You didn't correct her. Mom's face paled slightly, but her voice hardened. We didn't ask you to do all that. No, you asterisk expected asterisk me to, I said. Big difference. Silence. Then she said the words that broke something deep inside me. You should have been grateful to be invited at all. Lily didn't even want you there to begin with. I stared, speechless, breathless. Then slowly I nodded. Got it. I walked to my desk, pulled out a folder, and handed her a single paper. What's this? She asked. A copy of the check I left under the cake table, I said. Tell Lily it was never cashed. I canceled it the next morning. Her eyes widened. You what? I stopped payment. The bank said it was fine since it hadn't been deposited. Tell her whatever you want. Say it was lost, void, or the truth. She stood stunned, then her mouth tightened. She'll be furious. Good, I said. Let her call, let her yell, I won't answer. You're really doing this? She asked, disbelieving. Cutting off your family over a seat? No, I said firmly. I'm cutting off my family because it's the 100th seat. Because I'm done being the one who shows up, helps, and still gets sidelined. For the first time, Mom looked rattled. Her polished facade cracked. What will people think? They'll think what you tell them, I said. That I'm difficult, dramatic, ungrateful, but I don't care anymore. I opened the door. She stared at me, and for a fleeting moment, I saw something real in her eyes, not quite guilt, but fear. Fear that I meant it. Tell Dad I won't be at Christmas. You always make the stuffing, she whispered. Not this year, I said. She stepped into the hall, pausing. Lily will call. She won't let this go. I know, I said, and I won't answer. I closed the door, and for the first time in years, I felt no guilt. No collapse into self-doubt, no wondering if I'd overstepped. I felt clear. I had chosen myself. The first 3 days were eerily quiet. No voicemails, no texts, no late-night calls from Dad, no furious messages from Lily demanding answers. Just silence. I expected a storm. Instead, they were regrouping, and I was fine with that. For the first time in years, I woke without the weight of being needed. No urgent tasks, no family errands, no events to plan. I brewed coffee, read a novel, let my mind rest. It was odd, calm, almost unsettling. That Thursday, a text came from Ethan. I'm sorry. I didn't know Lily changed the seating. She said it was your idea. A minute later, I saw where you were seated and knew it was wrong. I didn't know how to speak up without making it worse. Then I found the check under the table. Lily thought it was stolen. I didn't tell her I saw it, just stored it. Thought you should know. I didn't reply. But for a moment, I sat on my couch, feeling something I hadn't in years seen. I didn't fully trust Ethan. He'd stayed silent during my humiliation. But he'd reached out. That mattered. Hours later, the silence broke. Lily called. I let it ring. Her voicemail followed. "You're unbelievable. Mom told me what you did. You canceled the check. After all I've done for you, after everything I've been through with this pregnancy, the least you could have done was help. You don't get to play victim when you're causing pain. Grow up." I listened, expressionless, then deleted it. That evening, Dad called. He rarely did. Mom usually spoke for him. I answered. "Hello." A pause. "We don't know what's wrong with you," he said. "You left the shower. You embarrassed Lily. Now everyone's talking." "Who's everyone?" I asked calmly. "Your aunts, your cousins, Lily's friends. Word spreads." "Let it," I said. "I'm not responsible for their assumptions." "Your family," he snapped. "You don't just walk away." I almost laughed. "You're right. I don't get to. I chose to." "You're punishing us," he said, as if I'd betrayed him. "No," I said. "I'm protecting myself." He didn't reply. So I asked, "Do you remember what Mom said? That I should be grateful to be invited? That Lily didn't want me there?" Silence. "I heard it," I said. "And for the first time, I believed it." More silence. Then quietly, "She didn't mean it like that." "Yes, she did," I said. The call ended. 2 days later, a message appeared in our family group chat from Aunt Clara. "I saw where you were seated at the shower. I thought it was a mistake. I'm sorry I didn't speak up. It wasn't right." No one else commented. But in the days that followed, distant relatives reached out. Small texts, photos of their kids, a shared memory from years ago. They didn't say it outright, but they knew. By week's end, I blocked Lily's number. It felt final, necessary. Her texts had escalated, guilt, anger, then silence. I didn't need it. Instead, I leaned into the life I'd always paused. I called my friend Sarah and agreed to a weekend trip we'd planned for years. I enrolled in a painting class I'd skipped because family might need me. I started researching that Greece trip again. I gave myself permission to exist. Then on a quiet Tuesday, another text from Ethan. "Lily found the canceled check. She lost it. Accused me of taking your side. I told her I didn't care, that what she did was wrong. I think we're done. Thank you for the honeymoon and for waking me up." I set the phone down and gazed out the window. I didn't feel victorious or bitter. I felt right. The weight was gone, no leash, no anxiety, just peace. It's been 3 months. 3 quiet, healing months. The kind of silence that doesn't choke you, it restores. I've learned about myself, about what I thought family was, about what love means when it's genuine, not transactional. I kept waiting for guilt to creep in. It didn't. No shame, no restless nights, no urge to fix things, just relief. I hadn't realized how much of my life was driven by fear of being left out, unvalued, labeled the problem. But when you stop chasing love that's never freely given, you find something else. Peace. My phone is quieter now. My days aren't filled with family duties. I spend time with people who make room for me, not just when they need something, but because they want me there. Friends, coworkers, a cousin I met for lunch recently. People who ask how I am and listen. I'm not angry anymore, not even at Lily. I'm just done. That's not resentment, it's clarity. Lily hasn't apologized. I didn't expect her to. Maybe she never will. That's her path. Mom hasn't called since that day in my apartment. Dad sent a card last week. A generic note about family always coming back together. I didn't reply, not to punish them, but because the version of me they relied on is gone. The quiet helper, the fixer, the seat filler, she walked away. I think back to the baby shower, to that rickety chair by the bathroom, to my name on that card, Extra Attendee. It was true. I was extra tolerated, not embraced. Expected to show up, smile, and fund the event. They never saw me as vital, but I do now. I'm no one's backup, no one's silent donor. I'm not a guest in my own life. I don't regret leaving the gift under the table. I don't regret canceling the check. I don't regret the 11 missed calls. Walking out of that room was the moment I stepped into myself. And now I live here, on my terms, no apologies, no explanations, just freedom.